Good morning, guys. Welcome to this Thursday, January 8th. And so we had a new record set yesterday on the ES. They took out 7,000 S&P in the ES. I did not expect them to do that fast, but it just feels very much like that was a target. Run up, hit 7,000, and then, of course, immediately they knocked it down. And we had a bit of selling going on. They took out that 67 or 69.75s in the afternoon. That's not a great sign. So we're right back down in this lower range again. So a little pop to the upside just got absolutely smacked down again, and we're right back to where we started. So we'll see how this whole thing kind of develops right now. Beginning of the year, a lot of stuff happened, a lot of stuff in front of us to contend with. And and yeah, it could go a couple of different ways, put it that way. Now, the news we have this morning, we got the job cut challenger job cut report. Half the rate, 71 prior, 35,000 this time around. So half the amount of job cuts. At 8:30, we get international trade, jobless claims, productivity, wholesale inventories. I have three delayed markers on mine. I'm not sure if they're going to come out or not, but you just have to take it as it comes. Now, I mean, like yesterday, we had factory orders, has a delayed on it, and it came out, a number came out. So I'm just going to assume these numbers come out. So at 8:30, we get a bunch of news. Sorry, yeah, a bunch of news. At 10 o'clock, we get wholesale inventories, also delayed marker on it. At 10:30, we get a nat gas report. So that's what we have in front of us going into today's trade. I don't think nothing of that's going to really be driving it really hard. Then, of course, tomorrow, employment situation coming up, and also have Supreme Court verdicts coming out, I think. They were talking about it. And I think the big thing is the tariff verdict. That's going to be something in the administration's favor or not. How that impacts the markets, anyone's guess. I mean, I don't know, because I can make a case either way that you just have to wait and see what happens with that. However, so the ES, a nice move out of the middle to the upside. It got promptly knocked down again. We're right back to value. So I'm just going to check this up as an attempt to take it higher. We are back here to value at 69.50. And we can either stick around here, go sideways, or we may see some further weakness. Now, beginning of the year, new stuff happening. We had a little bit of profit taken early on, a little bit of weakness first couple of days, and then we got a little rally. Now we have to see if the market, if the general sentiment is going to be to the long side. And we got earnings coming up in a few weeks, maybe even next week starting. But it's going to be earnings season coming up. It's going to be very interesting to see how the next set of earnings from the fourth quarter comes in. Yeah, new money coming into all the 401ks. It's going to be distributed. It's going to be used to buy and net buy stocks. So that's going to be usually it's a default amount of money starts coming in it has to be invested. But I would start off this whole thing just range bound. Let's keep an eye on the cross currents as they start coming out and things start happening. I would pay attention to these areas here, the 6,900. That's volume edge, right? A low volume area at 6,910. Volume edge right here down to the 6,880. So this whole area right there, if they start taking that out, I would be a lot more inclined to hop on the short side and start thinking about maybe we have a little bit of a pullback coming, a little bit of selling coming our way. If not, if they can hold that, I think I'm going to stay range bound and keep my bias to the long side of the market. So initially, I'm looking to buy weakness at 45s, 35s, 25s, down to the 69.10 and 6900s. Last one would be that 68.80, 68.90s. So these three areas down here, when you get down to that 69.10, that low volume area, these are these three areas of support. And I would be looking for buying opportunities there. If they start taking those out, bets are off. I think they're not necessarily changing capital flow at that point, but we can certainly see more selling. They start taking out the areas here, the 6,800s. And I would probably give it down here to, let me see here. And this whole area starts coming out, then I start thinking about the capital flow changing direction. So it's going to be below the 6,800 here, some area, depending on how it shapes up. I'm going to start thinking about the changing capital flow. But at this point, as you can tell, it'll be a nice move out of the middle from mid-December here. They're still holding on to it back and forth a little bit, but it's we are still way up here at the very highs. So I'm going to stay on the long side, or I'm going to start off range bound and keep my bias to the upside at this point. So I would favor buying weakness. On the way up, I would look for short setups against the 6960s, 70s, 75s, 90s, 60 or 7,000 here for rotations down. Now the areas to, let me do this, move this guy away. So if we start taking out this area right there, the 69.75s again, I would be more inclined to start leaning on the long side on this in a bigger way. If to take out this area, the 69.90, yes, stay on the long side at that point. But I think the better shorts probably going to come here early on at the 69.75, 69 and 90s, that mode. If you start taking out those two, I would be more inclined to start thinking, yeah, maybe we're going to get another burst to the upside. But the selling we got yesterday, late in the session, it kind of concerning. That's not a great sign. It's making new highs and you have to knock it down hard like that in going into the close. That's just not a great sign. Overnight has been to the weak side too. So we're starting off almost looking for early weakness and see how far they want to take it on the downside. But I'm still thinking in the bigger picture to buy this weakness, buy weakness. Just be mindful depending on how this shapes up. If they start knocking this down hard, you can probably be more aggressive on the short side early on. I would look into this 69.30 and 69.20 at that point. It kind of depends a little bit on how it shapes up. If you see that net selling kick in, and it's very obvious when it starts happening, yes, relentless selling, then you can probably be more aggressive on the short side. But in a bigger picture, looking to buy weakness down to that 68.90 would be the very last one. And that takes us all the way down here to these areas right there. So this whole area comes out, bets are off. We're going to be on the short side of this, looking for pullbacks and see how far they want to take it. All right. So that's how we get started. So range bound, slight bias to the upside to get started. Let's see if this overnight is going to turn into something ugly or if they're going to be able to find support. And then we'll take it from there. And NASDAQ. Same story there. Very volatile yesterday. A lot of action yesterday. But they've been coming up here. And as you can see, if I hold this together, we have a small move out of the middle to the upside. Popped it up here, took out this area, and now they're right back below it again. Haven't really backed off below that 25,730 volume edge just yet. They're right there now. Now, same story there. If they can't get up above this edge, the 850, 860s, we're going to be just range bound. If they can get up above it, we'll be back on the long side, looking for a retest, at least up to this attractor at 26,080, maybe even new highs. We'll see. But yesterday was a nice probe to the upside, and they got met with some selling. So they are defending this right now. Any attempt to take it higher is getting met with some selling. It's not a great sign, but it's what it is, right? So they ran it down here to that 8680 level. And I would look to buy weakness, same as the ES, given we have some strength going on here. I would look to buy weakness against the 730s, 680s. What is that? Yeah, 680s, 640s, 600s, probably down here to this level that the 540s. So about 540s, which takes us down here to that other side of that volume edge. You see that right there. A little mode in this long-term distribution, nice little volume edge right there at the 550s. So if they take that out, I would start thinking short side of the market, the CFR that can take it. Not really going to lean in on the short side until they take out this ledge down here at the 25,360. That had been an area. So this area congestion is interesting because they're going back and forth there quite a while now. Watch this area here. That there was a big area, 25,370 for a while to get through. Once they got through it, then we had a lot of this volatility going in from late summer into up to Christmas, and that's this whole blob of activity. This whole distribution is from the beginning of November when we had all this stuff back and forth. Couldn't quite get that Santa rally going. But watch this area of congestion around that 20 feet, 25, 360, 350 to 360 here. That comes out, that's when we start worrying about the short trade in a bigger way. That would be a pretty good risk off day if that starts happening. So watching this right now, let's see if this selling we got late in the session. Now, NASDAQ had a little bit of a pop late in the session. Let me see here. As you can see here, they were down here. Yeah, no, they sold off. They were down here at the support area at the 820 when they closed out, right below the support area. And it was in the aftermarket, they took it lower. So I would look for this area, look at this, the 800 to the 850, 800 to 850 area. It's as long as they can't get up above that again, we're going to be basically in range bound. Still looking to buy weakness, but range bound. If they can get up above that 830, 840, preferable also this 880 area, we'll be back on the long side in a big way. But right now, I would still look for short setups against the 800s, 840s, 880s, up to the 930s here for rotations down. Last one would obviously be the 990s. Looking to buy weakness, 730s, 680s, 640s, 600s, down to that 550 level. And below 550, we'll start leaning in on the short side in a bigger way. So we've got some range to work with right now. We are kind of in the middle of that range, but definitely the key thing for today's trading is this weakness in the overnight now going to turn into something more, or are we going to be able to find some support here? All right, so that's the ES and NASDAQ, both of them starting off range bound, slight bias to the upside still, and looking for early weakness given the overnight, but I'm still looking to buy that weakness for rotations up again. Hopefully that makes sense. On the bond side of things, and they had a few opportunities yesterday, totally missed those, blew those up. Did not get my, well, I tried one, missed it, and I wasn't paying too much attention on the other ones, kind of missed those, but so I had to pay better attention to that. Anyway, so bond market is pretty much in the range. They're just going back and forth. So I would just start off range bound, looking to sell strength 1520 or 1520, 1526 up to the 16s. Looking to buy weakness 1512s, 1505 to 6 down to the 1428s, and that's pretty much it. So yeah, it's going range bound, 3 levels up, 3 levels down at this point. If they take out this low here at the 1428, you can see how nice that lower edge is. Then start thinking short side in a bigger way. If they start taking out this upper edge 16s, start thinking maybe you have 16. That's off my screen a bit. 16, 6 to 7 or 7 to 8. If you start taking out this 7 to 8 level up here, then I would be more inclined to lean in on the long side. But as you can see, the daily range on the bonds has been like just shy of a point. So I don't, unless something happens in the economy which really starts changing that dynamic, we want to be sticking with this kind of a range. We do have stuff coming out tomorrow. The tariff verdict from the Supreme Court, as well as the employment situation, both could set off the bond market one way or the other. So we'll see. Anyway, back to the ES and NASDAQ, and I'm just watching it. If you want to trade the bonds, good. I'm not spending too much time doing the analysis. I don't think if you do trade the bond, let me know. It's I'll spend more time on it, but otherwise it's just, I guess, me doing it. ES and NASDAQ, however, those guys are very interesting right now. So watching it very carefully. Let's see if this selling we got in the late in the session yesterday and the overnight is going to get materialized into something bigger. But we'll wrap it now. And see, start watching it and see how the day progresses. But we have a plan. We're just going to execute on that. So we'll take it from there. All right, guys. So good trading, and I will see you back at 11:30 for the next update.